UK services, Lavarzi and who1.co.uk present the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast, episode 572. I'm Adam, and delete. I don't think they say that, but I can't be asked to do it. And here's Robert Haynes.
Upgrade in progress.
What did you say? Upgrade? Did you say? If you said upgrade, that's what my one was going to be, but I forgot it. Mary Lang.
Yes.
Get me to a table and somebody tie me up.
Kirby
Ooh!
Mary.
Kirby Bartlett Sloan.
We've got a golden ticket.
I've just remembered my quote. Will you marry me?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, this week it's Nightmare in Silver, and
Are we going to talk about the episode first, or are we going to talk about any news that happens to have happened?
No, it's not the news section, Kirby. Have you never on this show and know the format in which the show runs?
Yeah, but it's rather important news, so
Tough.
I guess we'll get to it.
Yes, we'll get to it. Especially if it's on the page that I use for news anyway.
Of course it's
You're not
there.
talking about
Great.
the passing of Matthew Perry or anything like that. That also will become under that section of the show. So anyway, let's see if we can bash through this episode. The TARDIS materialises on what appears to be the moon. Oh dear, I've got the sound up. That was a good sound effect, actually, with the TARDIS door opening.
That?
Yeah.
And then they all rather
Was that your
annoying...
stomach?
What? What do you mean, is that my stomach? Oh, you've lost me.
No, I heard some noise.
No, never mind. Lillian Robbins says you mean the Crimson Aura. No, like I said before, it's only one character in that story that calls it the Crimson Aura, who's out of place and time because he's not from the north. So I'm not going to say it again. Anyway, so the annoying part of that particular scene, of course, when the TARDIS lands and materialises, the door opens, they all peer out the door, one on top of the other or the other way around, which is a bit irritating, but never mind. The Doctor is taking them to a space theme park. He's very excited, as he usually is, and of course, as we probably would guess, it's not quite what we expected it to be. And then a chap with a top hat comes out of a shadow in some ways.
Willy Wonka?
Yeah, comes out of a shadow. So in some ways, sort of, he's hiding from someone. And then a load of soldiers turn up, and I'm just moving on a little bit. The kids are a bit sort of taken aback by what's going on. Then Tamsin Outhwaite turns on, and the Doctor says he's got a golden ticket for the theme park.
I just said that.
And
I have one too.
And then
For where?
the Doctor has to explain himself quite quickly, and so he uses the psychic notepad, and off go the soldiers, and everyone's shown this destroyed theme park. It's a bit like it needs a bit of work done to it. A bit like Camelot up north somewhere in Britain. The theme park we went to is now not being used anymore and is
Yeah, they mentioned, I listened to a podcast about roller coasters and theme parks, and they were actually brought up a bunch of facts about the closed Camelot theme park. Sounded really interesting.
It was a good little theme park, that, actually. We went there every time we used to go to Blackpool. We used to go there. And anyway, where did I get up to? And then the chap takes them into his little sort of place, I suppose, where he lives. It looks like a little museum of stuff. And then he takes this
wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
He has there's objects under a cover, which he lifts the cover off, and get down, Cyberman, and then we get the title sequence. Obviously, the allegedly exciting part of it being written by Neil Gaiman.
Yes.
But unfortunately, Kirby doesn't like Neil Gaiman stuff, so it's always going to be a bit of a damp squib for poor old Kirby.
What?
Particularly hates Neil Gaiman's
What are you talking about?
Anyway, do you like this story?
I'm not telling until the end.
They've already told us about umpteen times beforehand. Anyway, you said it was the most appropriately named Doctor Who story of all.
I did?
Yes.
When?
Anyway, so there's
being
this. The Cyberman is almost like a puppet, and after a game of chess, it seems to be a bit of a theme of this episode.
Yeah,
Chess.
it's master.
No, it's not the master.
It's just a take on a real automaton.
Silver Turk.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying
I can't say anything.
that they were playing chess, and chess is a theme of this episode because it was invented by the Time Lords, apparently. And they have this game, but they find very shortly that the game, or the sort of Cyberman, is being controlled by Warwick Davis underneath in a box. And
isn't he great in this story?
He's great in everything. He's a very talented
Yeah.
chap.
He is.
And he's very natural, isn't he? Whatever apart from when he's playing stuff in Harry Potter when he has to do silly voices and stuff. But when he's playing sort of bog standard people, he's got a very natural way about him and the way he characterises the characters. Anyway, he's called Porridge initially, and I love the little while they're sort of having their chat and making friends, the little cyber, what they call again, these little grubs that sort of go around. Cybermites. They're really, really cool. They do look rather CGI, but I still think they
Like
look cool.
silverfish.
That's because they are CGI.
Shut
Is
up.
it? They're
They're not
pretty
supposed to
successful.
look
Really?
CGI, though, are they? Anyway, so yeah. I also thought it was quite interesting. There was a mannequin of like an emperor that they sort of looked at briefly while uncovering old Cyber Sindri's Cybermen.
It does not look like Warwick Davis. I'm sorry.
What are you bloody on about? You're so funny. No, I'm talking about the Roman Emperor mannequin, which I thought looked remarkably like Peter Capaldi, actually. Anyway.
Well, it's supposed to. The girl's supposed to have seen that and seen the coin and go, oh, Porridge is actually the Emperor, and
Yeah.
it does not look like him.
Yeah, I agree, Kirby.
Whatever. Anyway, they go back to this little part of the theme park where they have a little anti-gravity game run by Porridge, and the kids seem to enjoy that. I don't actually enjoy the kids.
Master,
to be fair.
Master,
oh, Jesus Christ.
Go ahead.
I don't particularly enjoy the kids, but the kids enjoyed the anti-gravity game. Yes,
Yeah, except the thing is that they don't look like they're actually floating. They look like they're getting pulled up by strings.
that's probably because they
Exactly.
are.
Yeah.
But, maybe
They
that's
can't act.
Well,
I
there's
was
a bit
going
of
to
that.
say it's too bad that they
They can't
stopped
act.
making confidentials because they would have spent a good 10, 15 minutes watching them be pulled up on the wires.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So anyway, after let's move on a little bit. I'm just moving on. They eventually sort of get split up, and the chap who is a very well-known British actor whose name I forget, who's doing quite a lot of stuff nowadays. He gets sort
Wasn't
of
he in EastEnders or something?
So well known that you remember his name.
not the actor's name, but the one who plays the black with the bloke with the hat. You know, that actor. He's in a lot of stuff, films, British films, and
You want me to look him up?
not particularly. No, I'm just saying that he's in a lot of stuff. Anyway, he gets taken over.
Jason Watkins.
That'll do. Yes.
He's been in Being Human,
Yeah.
Trolleyed,
Yes.
all kinds of stuff. Lost Honor of Christopher Jeffries.
I think he's in most of the nativity films as well. He gets taken over by these Cybermat things while
Cybermites.
Porridge goes off to flirt with Clara for a little bit.
I love the little background text when you're seeing out the eyes of the Cybermites. One of them says, disassembly requested when looking at the kids.
Oh, right, okay. Anyway, the Porridge then gets Clara to look up at the... What in the hell? What is someone's hearing aid gone funny? I just heard a feedback noise come through. To look up at the Tiberian Spiral Galaxy, which looks very much like an eye, looking down at them.
That's what I thought.
Aye, Captain.
Well, it did, so shut up. Porridge flirting with Clara, and then the young girl does a typical teenage things and wanders off, leaving her brother on his own, and stumbles across the lair where some of these sort of soldier type characters run by Tamsin Outhwaite is, and sort of just sees what they're up to for a bit. The young lad sort of on his own, he's in a sort of room full of mannequins of scary monsters, and looks for the light switch.
I like that scene.
And the moment he switches the light on, he gets grabbed by a Cyberman.
As one does.
And then these are new Cybermen, by the way. We've seen sort of mannequins of the Cyber Industries one by way of handover. And they're sort of seem to be quite good at deflecting things being fired at them. And the line the Doctor says to all the soldiers, "Stay alive, you lot," which is quite funny. And then the little nipper is it Artie? The name of the little nipper.
Artie, yes.
He gets a flashy thing in his hair. I thought it was a very girly thing to have in your hair, but there you go. And he's been taken over along with Jason, what's his name that you said? Both got... actually, Jason, what's his name, looked like a Borg, actually, with his implants.
Yes.
But obviously you can see it's
and interestingly, Borg were influenced by Cybermen. So.
Well, obviously, but obviously he's got the cyber, half of his head is cyber, but it does look a bit Borgish. But it's interesting to note that they went back and reused this sort of cyber head, which was half human, half Cyberman, in Jodie's penultimate series, was it, I believe?
Yes,
sort of,
the last Cyberman.
Don't forget that.
So anyway,
I wish I could forget most of those.
I just realised why Kirby doesn't like this story, apart from Neil Gaiman having written it.
Who says I don't like this story?
Just let me finish. I've just realised,
Kirby!
because Kirby is a particular fan of theme parks, and of course the theme park in this story is rubbish, and that's why he doesn't like the story. Anyway, so
why are you putting words in my mouth?
Because it's my job. So anyway, the Doctor finds one of these little cybermat thingies and sort of renders it unconscious with his sonic screwdriver and starts working on it. And then he transports himself to the cyber ship, I suppose it is. But what I love about the cyber ship, apart from the kids not being able to particularly act as being sort of possessed or in a trance, was the cyber ship design. Which was, it's so Tomb of the Cybermen. I know it's meant to be, but they've done a really, really good job of those sort of half moon steps and stuff like that.
Yes, it's wonderful.
It is wonderful. Yes, I loved that. And anyway, so coming on.
That's not a ship. That's just another building close by.
Whatever. We got transported to there.
He says local transport.
Whatever. Right, that's it. Where's my priority jingles folder? He's lucky I can't find it, but I'm sure I'll just queue it up for the next time.
Sir, may I have another?
So anyway, when the Doctor and Clara get sort of separated from each other, the Doctor goes off and hobnobs with the cyber side of things, and then gets sort of taken over by a cyber. They basically try to turn him into a cyber person, and Clara sort of gets coerced into bossing the soldiers around, who obviously don't appear to have a proper, apart from Tamsin, who doesn't seem to do the job properly, a proper leader. So Clara starts beginning to sort of turn the soldiers into some sort of coherent force, and then the Doctor becomes, his hair changes when he gets those sort of cyber implants and stuff. But I do like about when Matt Smith is sort of playing these sort of half Doctor, half cyber person thing. He's really, really good. Well, he's good anyway, isn't he? But he's sort of
you half expect him to start going precious. Gollum.
Do you?
Yes. He's doing the Gollum thing.
Oh, I don't care. I think I do like his what he's doing there, just being a bit sort of different. And of course, then he has a conversation with himself, i.e., the cyber thing about who Clara is, and because obviously the cyber's got into his mind and is trying to find stuff about him and the Time Lords and whatnot. It's Cyber Planner, isn't it? If I remember right.
Cyber Planner, yes.
What?
Yes,
yeah.
I'm agreeing with you, sir.
So the Doctor is fighting with the Cyber Planner thingy, and I love that there's also a scene where you see in the background all the previous incarnations being beamed up on a screen, which is really
yes.
cool.
And who always makes sure who counts with them as they're showing up on the screen? I do.
I don't. But bearing in mind what's coming very soon. Well, bear in mind what's coming very soon. What it would have been really nice as they were flashing up these Doctor things if they very, very quickly flashed up John Hurt. That would have... they've made a mistake. They've put John Hurt up there.
Or they should have put... Since 2 episodes later, they put Capaldi's eyebrows in.
Yes, exactly.
They should have put Capaldi's eyebrows in.
No.
Did we know by this point that Capaldi was coming in?
We didn't know either him or John Hurt was going to be a Doctor. No, I don't think so.
No, we didn't know about John Hurt.
Let me speak. Capaldi's announced.
When the next Doctor was announced.
Right, Capaldi was announced as the Doctor on the same day as the Doctor Who, the 50th anniversary, wasn't it? Because there was a special live show that Zoe Ball hosted.
That's what I'm saying. When was that thing? When was that?
It wasn't on the 50th because we did a separate thing. So here, let me bring up the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I remember we did a separate thing.
So we were
things
around
on the
I remember that Matt Smith was the Doctor at that event, and the following year Capaldi was the Doctor, and that's when we had our picture with Capaldi.
Called Doctor Who Live, The Next Doctor. When was that?
I'm pretty sure it was 2013, 10 years ago. Baby, I don't know. Now you're making me doubt myself. I'm sure I'll turn out.
Oh, here it was.
What?
It was our episode 177,
right,
which was several weeks after we recorded this. It went out. You posted it on August the 4th of 2013.
God. So I got the year right then, didn't I?
Yeah, of course.
Never mind. Yes, because I remember at that event we watched the 50th anniversary episode, and the eyebrows were on it.
Right, that was several months later. This was
Jesus.
August when he was announced.
Robert. Right, let's get my head right. Right, so he was announced in August. In November of that year,
yes,
I was at the Doctor Who celebration, the 50th anniversary.
You left that part out.
No, I didn't. When they showed the episode to the audience at the event, the 50th anniversary episode, when the eyebrows appeared, and it got a big cheer. I'm getting a headache now. Have I got any tablets around here?
We saw his eyes as well.
All right, the eyes and the eye. Stop being pedantic. Where did I get up to? Right then, so
that's our job.
Matt Smith's being a sort of he's fighting with himself personality-wise.
Kirby answer.
And I'm just flicking through a few scenes here of people skulking around corridors and whatnot.
And Thing shows up at one point.
Whatever. And the Cyberman.
The hand of a Cyberman.
Yes.
Okay.
Metal thing.
And and Clara's got her arms crossed because she's going into bossy mode and just bossing them all around.
Annoying mode, in other words.
Yeah, stamping authority. And the Doctor's having a game of chess against himself. And just moving on. And then they're sort of really having these sort of interesting conversations with each other. And then, he said something about the Cybermen and sort of things that are weaknesses they've had in the past, and gold was one of them. And then a bit of tin foil sticks to his face.
The golden ticket.
Potentially, was it a golden ticket? But it wasn't actually gold, though, was it?
How do you know it wasn't gold?
Because I say so, and who's in charge?
Well, since it actually did cause things to short circuit, it was obviously gold.
It was a sheet of gold.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I did notice one of the soldiers that got a yawn, sorry. one of the soldiers that Clara was speaking to really did remind me of James Corden. I thought for a split
Master?
second when he first appeared on the screen that it was, because he even talks
Master,
like that.
there's also a theory because of some of the conversation when he's saying that he remembers, that character says he remembers Cybermen from the time he was in his crib. People have thought that he might be Alfie, Stormageddon, has gone through into the future.
Oh, that's not a bad
I know
idea.
what you mean. Kirby.
Yeah, that's all right. I can live with that.
I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah,
Because he does look very much
certainly bearable.
like-
Anyway, as stuff goes on, and the Doctor's sort of being sort of sinister, and Clara's sort of oh, that's right, because Clara sort of asks, "Well, how do I know it's really you?" And he sort of gets really, really flirty and uncomfortably so with Clara, and then says something about her being pretty or something like that, and then she slaps him exceptionally hard around the face and writes "hit me." Sorry, the other way around. She writes "hit me," and
he writes "hit me."
he writes "hit me," and she slaps him exceptionally hard around the face, and sort of helps him for a little while. Meanwhile, the battle goes on, and the chess continues to be played, and then the Cybermen continue to stroll around, stomp around, and of course the other thing that continues to happen is that Porridge continues to flirt with Clara and give her cups of tea and whatnot. And
I didn't
then
take
they have
that as
another
flirting.
conversation, and more slaps around the face, and the Doctor continues to battle with himself, and the Cybermen continue to multiply. What did you say? You say no? Well, they don't.
Gollum.
Oh, bloody hell. Anyway, I see there's a scene of a Cyberman stepping into a little puddle and electrocuting himself. And then,
I love the
James
scene where
Corden.
the Cybermen all wake up and come out of the tombs. That was great.
Absolutely. And what else happened? Oh, yeah, then there was a scene in which the Cyberman comes in and gets sort of vaporised by this humongous laser gun, and James Corden's son points a Nerf gun. Oh, is that gun? So eventually, after all this shenanigans, there's Cybermen heads blowing off, which is traditional Doctor Who, isn't it, when Cybermen's heads blow up. And after lots of talking and sort of brandishing weapons, the Doctor finally beats the cyber version of himself, and I'm just moving on a bit. After a battle with his hand comes up and tries to throttle himself and stuff like that, and all the sort of facial implements fall off his face.
He's using the electromagnetic pulse thingamajigger to pulse.
Anyway, when he does that,
He's used his sonic to increase its power, and then he EMPs it.
Okay, well he does that, and fine, and he gets rid of his electronic version of himself, and then sadly the kids
make it last longer than it should be, Kirby.
The kids finally, the kids turn up, and they're okay. Never mind. And of course,
what did you say,
I love
Robert?
the way that the Doctor says he's got to destroy the planet because otherwise millions of Cybermen will invade the universe. So, Porridge then says, "Well, no, to do that, I have to say." Basically, says the whole line for arming the self-destruct thing, which is really good. And they transmat.
The girl has already said, "Well, he's obviously the Emperor."
Yes, well that's fine. I haven't got a problem with that. And they beam up to this sort of thing, and it's like a space station. I don't know what it is. Looking at the planet,
it's an imperial ship that was immediately dispatched as soon as he announced where he was.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway,
Star Destroyer.
That's fine. Where do I get up to? Oh yeah, and the Doctor said, "What about my TARDIS?" Essentially, and so we'll beam the TARDIS up, and then we'll watch the planet blow up. Which is quite.
It implodes. It's not blowing up. It's
whatever. Then of course he admits he's the Emperor and asks Clara to marry him, and the kids can't understand why she said no. And then they go back on the TARDIS and drop the kids off. Basically, that's about it. Everyone lives happily ever after.
And they use the line. Well, the Doctor uses a John Landis line that he used in a lot of his movies. See you next Wednesday.
Okay, that's fine. So that's basically essentially it. Right then. So this story, I must admit, I did enjoy a lot of aspects of it, but I did drift in certain parts of it as well. When I sort of it went a bit too, it lulled a little bit too much, and I lost concentration a bit, as you probably noticed by me trying to tell you certain
Push
parts
us
of the
through,
story.
yeah.
But I didn't enjoy the kids in it. I accept that sometimes children not necessarily bad actors, the wrong children get cast in things like this. Because I didn't have a problem with, if you remember Ellis George, who played a character.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she was really good, and I didn't get irritated by her trip in the TARDIS at all. But these kids, for me, maybe because we hadn't got to know them properly prior to this trip, I don't know, just didn't.
You remember
work.
had several. Didn't we have at least 2 conversations with Alice George?
One. I tried to get another one with her, but she's given up acting. I think, or gone to uni. I don't know what she's doing. Anyway, she's not doing anything like that.
She was she was the second companion I ever met.
Okay, congratulations. Anyway, what did I get up to? Yeah, so yeah, of course it's quite well. The scenery's nice, CGI is nice. I even enjoy the CGI, like I said, of the little mats. I love them. It's a shame they didn't bring them back, those sort of cyber bugs. They're really, really cool. Obviously, Warwick Davis is one of those actors that lights the screen up, and Hollywood gold and stuff like that. So that sort of made up for the kids to a certain degree. I did admit that I did find it when Clara was sort of bossing the militaries around a little bit. It's mildly irritating, not majorly, just mildly irritating. I didn't find any of the scenes she did with the Doctor annoying, because that's just their sort of the way they sort of bounce off each other in regards to their banter and stuff like that. But when she sort of was suddenly become a military general, that irritated me slightly. But on the whole,
Irritated me a lot.
On the whole, there's a lot of clever stuff in the script. Everything was sort of explained that you might think, because like I said about you lose concentration, and you think, where did that come from? Well, that comes from the bit you lost concentration on. It has been said in the script somewhere, so things are explained. There's no sort of bits of the plot as I could find that didn't have some sort of connection somewhere, even if it's one little word he's dropped in earlier on. It is in there somewhere. And on the whole, it was okay. I think it's not my favourite by a long way, but I don't think is that bad. I don't think it warrants. It should have been instead of Nightmare in Silver, it should have been called It Was Okay in Silver. Really, I think that's all you can say about that. What did you think about it then? I know what you're going to say, so I'm going to get a jingle ready. What did you think about it then, Robert?
Didn't really like it at all, except for, Warwick Davis was about the most exciting thing for me in the
That's nothing to do with the story, though, is it?
So what, Robert? I want to know what happened in 10 years because you liked it.
I liked it. Well, I don't like it now.
In hindsight, huh?
Well, I just think some things I look, after 10 years, you think of things, you have a different view of things. And for me, I've been like that with a few now. Like my turnabout with A Town Called Mercy. I hated that when I first saw it, but I liked it this time, so go figure. But yeah, the only things I did like about it are the little callbacks to past stories, like as you mentioned, like the tombs, breaking out of the tombs, things like that. Yeah, the Cybermites were okay.
Cybermites.
Probably that's what. Yeah,
Excellent.
they were okay. Yeah, as I say, and I hated Clara in this. They make her character so annoying and it just drives me mad. So yeah, move on to the next episode, please.
Right, okay, well...
That's all I can say.
Okay, then, okay, what can I say? Kirby, what did you think?
What do you think I thought?
Probably didn't like it because you've been banging on about it for weeks. Oh, I'm going to have to watch Nightmare in Silver
I
again.
apparently have forgotten.
I think I've got a silent film to watch that weekend. That's all.
I had apparently forgotten because I really enjoyed this. It's not
God,
that's
what a
Doctor Who.
surprise. So this every single time you've whinged about an episode that's forthcoming, you've ended up liking it.
It's been 10 years since I've seen it. This is not a series that I go back and rewatch a lot.
Yeah, me neither.
So it really had been about 10 years since I watched this one, and I found that it's not top notch. It's not the best of this series, but it's not garbage at all. It was
better than Curse of the Black Spot.
Huh?
Better than Curse of the Black Spot.
No, you like that as well.
No, I did not like Curse of the Bad Plot.
He did.
Never
He's
will.
just forgotten it already.
And I can't wait until we get to destroy Orphan 55 again.
God.
Oh, God, here we
Oh,
go.
I can definitely wait. Yeah.
Said that about this story, Kirby.
Anyway,
Or Kill the Moon.
Kill the Moon only has one bad thing. The end, unfortunately. Anyway, I was watching this. It really is a lot different to watch this one after you know that Porridge is the Emperor. But it's also very interesting because you can tell all the way through with the things he says, the way that the leader of the soldiers treats him because she knows it. She doesn't say it. And how he's kind of weary of being the emperor. It's very good. It's very subtle. And I like that. The kids were unfortunate kid actors. They're pretty much the worst part of it.
Yes.
Matt Smith was great.
Yes.
And
Yes,
I seem to recall something. I didn't have enough time to do the research. I seem to recall something about how Matt Smith did not like filming those things. He was starting to get weary of playing the Doctor and was getting mad at the director, but I can't find any reference to that. Maybe Mary knows these things. Maybe she'll tell us.
If she did, she's forgotten.
I seem to remember that, though, that it was an argument with the director that caused him to really decide that he wasn't going to do much of anything after the regeneration the next year.
I remember that.
And it's not bad. I enjoyed watching it, and I will probably watch it with Fred in the next couple of days because she'll probably like it as well.
Yes. Okay. What a surprise.
You weren't expecting that.
I think consistency will now begin to reign again as we discuss Mary's opinion of this story.
This episode strikes me as kind of a tour de force for Matt Smith. I think the writers just had a good time writing that, and the directors had a good time directing him in all that. Other than that, it was kind of in my opinion, kind of a throwaway story because there wasn't much else for me that hung together. And this time around, I was a little more aware of the effort to infuse humor into the episode, into a sad, not that great written episode. The Punishment Squad, you're supposed to think that that's, an unlikely thing. And the long, silly name of the castle that they were using for their defense. I guess it's going to be, in that, whatever that castle was.
It's a comic castle.
every time they'd say it, it was a silly name. So it's like you're supposed to find that amusing. And then the emperor being a midget, it's almost like a sight gag. You knew he was, we knew in retrospect now that he was the emperor, but the idea then that back when it was a new reveal, I think was supposed to make you be, like humorously shocked. It's like, oh, this little guy. So to me, it was a lot of very sad humor.
Can I interject there, Mary? Because something just sprung to mind. Please remember where you got up to. You said about obviously they've cast Warwick as the little emperor person, which rather reminded me of when Napoleon became emperor of France. Wasn't he quite little?
No, he was not. He was average height.
Was he?
That is a myth.
Oh, it's a myth. Maybe that's where maybe they were applying. Yeah, maybe they were applying this myth to porridge. I don't know. Just
maybe because Napoleon's reputation was so huge that the fact that he was very normal in height and all that.
Yeah, but he wasn't a very nice man, unlike Porridge, who was a delightful chap.
Yes. But other than, a lot of things I could pick apart, because to me this episode just, one thing after another just didn't make much sense or didn't tie together very well. But Matt Smith's bravura performance, it was so much fun to watch.
It was.
And probably, if you timed it, it probably was half the episode, which is why I think it was written specifically, this whole episode was written specifically for him. But and I know I complained the last time because it bothered me again, that Deus Ex Machina ending, like, oh, conveniently we can just, be displaced somewhere else, and we're all safe and we can blow up all the Cybermen. And, and then we've got the sonic screwdriver once again, being the Hogwarts magic instrument,
yes,
to help the Doctor, win the chess match. And it's just too many convenient things to escape what looked like unwinnable positions. And I agree. Jenna Coleman's Clara is getting annoying, but I think it's a difference of approach, because Karen Gillan's Amy Pond, she took charge a lot of times.
Yeah, she did.
And she's, rescued the Doctor and all that.
Yeah.
But she was like, this goofy girl who was just, kind of like saying, oh, what the heck, we're going to do this because this is what the Doctor would do and all that. Whereas with Clara, the Clara character is more poised, more in charge, more commanding. And so I think that's why we find her more annoying, because she seems like we don't need a Doctor. We just have Clara to take care of everything. So those are my thoughts. Not a favorite episode at all. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and it'll probably be a long time before I'll watch it again.
Thank you, Mary.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Got it now. So that allows us to move on to a segment of the show that is run...
Give me a second to bring it up. Good grief.
Like clockwork, appropriately for the day in which the clocks go back. Like clockwork from Kirby, but that I can't be bothered to get everything ready in time for this particular segment of the show. Sloan.
Let me make sure I can view more comments. And then unfortunately, I have to... Okay, I've got all the comments. Okay.
Do you want me to do a spreadsheet,
No.
Kirby, on the format for the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast and how the order
the
of...
format includes me finding the thing. It's part of it.
Oh, what? You mean the spreadsheet? I must say, I'll do the spreadsheet for you.
No,
just so I can explain how
the posts.
the order of how we do things on the show. I mean, would that be of use to you? So you could have this particular feature ready for.
Okay, Andy Nunny, whoever he is,
who's that?
says
he's asleep. I don't know.
he's responding to my saying. Note that British summertime ends on Sunday, so if you live in a country that doesn't change time on Sunday, you will have to adjust if you watch this live. He says, preferable to watching you dead, I guess. He says, by the way, it's British summertime that's ending. And I say, that's what it says, grin, because I did change it to what he wanted me to say. I don't remember what I put down. Terry Miles should have left the blackmailing kids there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Ian Kirk says, well, at least they got the cyber treatment for half an episode. Ian Kirk has a script.
Why does he do that?
Ian,
I don't understand. We've never actually ever read the script out on the show, even when the
yes,
audio
there have
never
been times
arrived.
that he's posted the script that you haven't found the...
I don't remember this.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mr. M says, Blurg, 3 out of 10.
Ooh, that's harsh.
That's it.
You can't mark a Neil Gaiman story that low.
Yes, you can.
Okay, we have other bits of feedback coming through. I've sent something through to the eloquent Mary, who will now dictate said feedback before we set the kettle on for the nunny audio.
This week from Linda and Terry Miles, who say, "Oh, good Lord, the BBC seems too." Oh, good Lord, the BBC seems to condone blackmail. The children Clara looks after are able to force their way on board the TARDIS. Don't do this at home, please. Hedwig's World of Wonders looks like a dump. Everything is such a mess. The Cybermen wiped out throughout the galaxy. Someone's in for a shock. That Angie is a great kid, just the sort everybody wants their girls not to turn out like. Some great lines in this one. Do you think I'm pretty? No, you're too short and bossy and your nose is funny. Good enough. Another quote. The impossible girl, mystery wrapped in an enigma, squeezed into a skirt that's just a little too tight. What are you? Another quote. When someone asks you if you want to be queen of the universe, you say yes. Linda says this one was all right. Me, I enjoyed seeing Tamsin Outhwaite and Warwick Davis, and of course Jenna is still hot, even more when she takes charge.
Yeah.
The story was annoying, the fact that the Cybermen kept updating. Are they using a Microsoft Windows-based operating system or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
The name of the doctor. Yeah, I kept looking at that one, and that's from Linda and Terry Miles. I kept looking at that one actress, the captain of the group, and kept saying, I know her from somewhere. I know her. And then when I saw her name in the credits, like, oh, yeah, EastEnders.
Yeah, but you know what? She was in a series called Paradox, which was like a time-based series. It was absolutely fabulous. So, there was only one series of it, but if you look it up somewhere, if you get a chance to watch it, it's really good. Paradox.
Well, there was a paradox in this episode because of the doctor and the other.
Yeah, whatever, Kirby. The old jokes he attempts every time.
Well, good morning, 20 megabytes. Well, actually, it's afternoon, so 1:20. I just had a shower, been doing lots of ironing and stuff like that. Got a glass of wine, and I thought I'd sit down in my TARDIS towel, glance on Picture Vision,
images.
and actually do 2 episodes, because I didn't get around to doing the Crimson Horror for reasons, again, that I won't go into. I'm sure that's somewhere in Reese Parton's Book of Excuses. But it won't take very long, because let's be honest, it wasn't very good, was it? You know, it seemed like a good idea at the time, you know, some sort of aliens coming and taking over. Something a bit like Cadbury's did in Birmingham, Bourneville. If you case for the people that don't know, in Birmingham, where Cadbury come from, the Joseph Cadbury actually established a whole community for his workers to live in, and it really was done as a very, very well-meaning. They had schools, they had shops, they had chapels. I've got a feeling there might have been temperance. I don't think they actually had pubs there as well. But the whole point was to make sure that the workers at the company were properly and well looked after. So I'm guessing that's where the idea came from. And so you've got this wonderful place and people going in, and usual thing, people going in and not coming out. So the doctor goes to have a look, because you got people fainting, and that just was frankly silly. We decided that not a good idea, I'm afraid. But he sends Clara in to find who can infiltrate it, and she find out what's going on. There's this mysterious Mr. Sweets is there, and you got this she finds the doctor there who has not been taken over, because of course he's not human, and he's been saved by a girl who's blind, and you find out later that she's been blinded by her mother as part of the experiments. And it just all fell apart. I mean, there's a lot of laughter in it with the Paternoster gang. I mean, Strat certainly coming in all guns blazing. I mean, it was the way he played it, wasn't he? And you can't fault him for that. He did do actually very well. Paternoster gang with their usual fairly efficient self. But at the end of it, we just still, I don't know, what was he trying to do? He's going to kill everyone on the Earth, take them all over, dominate them, blow the planet. Yeah, it just never came together.
Dominators?
Mr. Sweet, yeah, it was some sort of hybrid alien, so, a bit like at the Alien Universe, the alien's actually attached. Yes, a bit like in Harry Potter with Voldemort part of the time was actually part of somebody. The only interesting points were having the mother and daughter there with Dame Edna, Dame Diana Rigg and Rachel Sterling, the daughter. Well, it's the first time they're acted together. Is it possibly the first time they've actually had parent and child acting in the same scene? I'm sure we've had it before. I'm sure Kirby will remember. That's what Kirby's good at. But no, I sat there and I watched it and then I turned it off and, that's 50 minutes of my life gone. I could have done something more interesting like watch the plank walk or something. But then this week we watched Nightmare in Silver. My goodness, that was a bit different. I mean, you barely had time to breathe. This really was a very, very fast-paced story. And, with a nice twist at the end. It was fairly clear that there was something wrong with these soldiers that had gone to vote out. They were all a bit there for comedic relief. I mean, one looked just like James Corden, didn't he? And Tasmania went, God, she reminded me of somebody else who we've seen in Doctor Who, and I can't think who it was. However, the story did rattle along, and the children there would actually, I suppose they were there a bit apart to set the story up. They didn't play too big a part in it. It's just, children actors tend not to work in Doctor Who. I mean, they did okay. You can't knock off what they did. And actually, their being there did add to the story. Clara came into her elements here, as being the put in charge of the army. Well, I suppose a bunch of convicts are going to obey anyone in sight, aren't they? You had the curator of the closed down amusement arcade, who were, when they had Podridge. I mean, Podridge was good, quite funny, and then of course you find at the end it's actually the Emperor, and it's interesting what it says, the Emperor has been the loneliest job, and I've heard interviews with our now King, he can't just go and slope off down the pub for a pint, because he's just always a pretty guy, he now lives, and that's what the Emperor does. His private life just does not exist. And that's why, when he said right answer to the soldier, he said, would you like to be Queen? No, sir. Right answer. Well, I think what we saw him in before is Matt Smith's wonderful acting. The first we had him doing all the doctors. And, it wasn't an impersonation. It was just an impression. It was a hint of the Doctor. But you could plot straight away who they all were. And it was relevant to the story as well with the cyber planner. Again, that was a good piece of, a good thought through going through. Taking over. The way they filmed it, very reminiscent of the Lord of the Rings, when you had Gollum with Smeagol and Gollum character at anguishing whether to take the ring or not. And the way they shot it from one side, the good one, the other side, the bad one. Very similar here, the way they did it. Obviously, it slightly helped with having the Doctor having the tech on his face on the one side. Why is it always only one side? But that did work well. But the Doctor fighting against himself. I mean, certainly, I presume they did it with green screen or something like that when they actually did it in face to face. But when again he's doing in the same room, he's doing the two of them playing a chess match. That was very well. I mean, he really is a very accomplished actor, and it really did touch all on. And at the end of it, you understand. Yeah, you understand that. Yeah, it's a suicide mission. You think it's you've got to do these things. You've got to destroy a planet, but you actually managed to get them off the teleport. I mean, why didn't Podridge actually say that beforehand? Well, actually, we could do it because I can take everybody off, and he got the box off and away, and they took the kids back, and Clara went off to live her own life. So yeah, this was really good story. Rattle along, and of course it's setting you up with still got the Impossible Girl, still doesn't work out what she is, and we know we're going to do another Doctor, and it's all setting it up. So until next time, be seeing you.
Andy Nunny, everybody, thank you very much. I'm getting a mysterious blonging noise coming through, and I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
How weird.
I think that may have been on his end. By the way,
and it was hidden while he was recording.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
by the way, Tamsin Uthwaite, whatever her last name is.
Althwaite.
She used to be married to Tom Ellis.
Right. Okay.
Who he is.
Yeah, he was.
He was. No, I don't know.
Yeah, he was a love interest at the end of. The one where the Doctor is shrunk into a little golem, and what's her name? Martha goes around with this bloke who's Tom Ellis.
But he's also Lucifer.
No, it doesn't matter. That's not Doctor Who. It doesn't have any bearing. on it at all. Right then, so we've got...
Hello, 20 Megabyte Podcast. This is Ian Kirk.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Captain.
Nightmare in Silver by Neil Gaiman. The Mondasian Menace. The Mechanized Mayhem. The Upgraded Upstarts are back. There's a lot stuffed into one episode. Luckily, they have an actor of Warwick Davis' stature. The Doctor gets the worst case of split personalities and he's gone. The Cybermen had been thought extinct for 1,000 years, wiped out by destroying an entire galaxy. But the Punishment Platoon just happened to have brought anti-Cyberman weapons with them, because the plot requires them. I would have thought that a Punishment Platoon would have been thrown against hopeless odds in a battle somewhere. But as far as their commanders know, they'll just hang around this deserted theme park for their tour of duty. The only way it would make sense is if the higher-ups are not as ignorant of Porridge's identity as he likes to think, and are giving him some protection. It might be amusing if the Cybermen get a Cybertruck, if and when they become available. Clara is supposed to play a military role to try and stop the planet being blowing up. The 12th Doctor is vocal about not being comfortable with the soldiers in the next series. The 7th Doctor had a high-stakes game of chess in The Curse of Fenric. The children are meant to be annoying. After all, they did blackmail Clara into taking them along.
Good point.
At least they got neuralised by the Cybermen for a good part of the story.
Yes.
The girl was given an Imperial penny at the start, which was a plot point, as it had the image of the Emperor, which helped her identify him as Porridge. The actress who played her caused some annoyance in real life, as she left her script in a taxi. The story before last ended abruptly when the Ice Warrior was teleported away on a spaceship. And this story has everyone suddenly teleported out of danger. Spoiler! The Impossible Girl is left for the next regeneration to work out. The planet and all of the Cybermen get destroyed in the end.
I'm not dead! There. He says he's not dead.
After the live stream of this podcast, Jodie Whittaker is on TV in a series called Life.
Yes.
Bye for now.
She had a haircut too. That's Ian Kirk, everybody. Deserves a round of applause. There you go.
Yay!
Right. Well, it looks as if we've only got one viewer this week, so I think it might be when the viewing drops down to half, we'll just not bother doing the live doodah on Facebook and turn it back into a podcast again. Next segment of the show is, well, I suppose I'll have to insert, sorry to mess up it's going to really confuse Kirby because it's going to break with the actual normal format of the show, but I suppose I'd better talk about Fantasy Con a little bit because obviously I've got to do an episode.
That's fine.
That is all Fantasy Con. What now?
I said that's fine.
Oh, I thought you were telling me off. So, let's see how I can go. So obviously, oh God, it was a very stressful build-up to the event because you'd never know what you're going to get in regards to whether we're going to get... We sold a lot of tickets in the week leading up to it online, and eventually got some really good coverage from Isle of Wight Radio simply because a friend of mine is a presenter, and her day is a Friday, so the day before the event, she was able to give it a good push on the radio. I managed to grizzle my way through to getting the County Press and the Observer, that's the Isle of Wight County Press and the Isle of Wight Observer, to do a free sort of article on it. So pulled a few favours in that way. And so on Friday, the main battle that I initially was Elodie Grace Orkin. And anybody who doesn't know who she is, she's in a thing called The Burning Girls, which is on Paramount Plus. It's a series, sort of like it's a very spooky series about the ghosts of witches from the 16th century, I believe. And she plays a sort of creepy character in that series. I only saw episode 1, and she's also quite well known for being hit over the head by Eleven in series 4 of Stranger Things, because her character Angela was particularly nasty to Eleven, and Eleven couldn't use her powers, no spoilers, to stop her, so she had to hit her over the head with a roller blade thingy, roller skate. But anyway, so the problem was with her, she when you normally book celebrities for conventions, you have a convention agent to deal with. But where I specifically wanted to get Elodie, I had to do a bit of research and find out who to speak to, and then when I spoke to them, I then had to negotiate prices and whatnot, and that was fine. We got the price negotiated nicely, and then the finer details that the agent left me with, like one of the other agents said, it was like jumping through hoops, and it got to this point in which I'm really pulling my hair out what's left of it, and I'm not going to get this person, and I devoted an awful lot of attention to trying to get her to the event, simply because, now, between you and me, because I know Isabella's never going to listen to this show, because I wanted to give Isabella, who's the biggest Stranger Things fan on the planet, the opportunity to sit with an actor or actress from the show. So it was a major thing for me to try and get this person, this girl, to the event. And it was a bonus because she's American, she lives in London, so I didn't have to fly anyone over. It was just worked, in my mind, it worked really well.
One of these days you'll fly one of us Americans over.
Anyway, she's... It went on and on and on, and 1 minute it was happening, then it wasn't, then it was 1 minute she was going to get an acting job in Ireland, and then she didn't, and it got to like 2 days before the event, and the complicated hoops that I had to try and negotiate were, she wanted a taxi from her house to the railway station, then a taxi from the railway station to the ferry station, and then a taxi from, when it gets to Cowes, from Cowes ferry station to the hotel.
Oh my God.
The problem is, when trying to book Uber, you have to have that person's details on the booking. So I said, well, I can't really book this thing without her address. Oh, so she sent the address through. It would have been helpful to send that a bit early, but there you go. So we got the address. And then it was a case of, oh, hang on, they want a phone number to do the booking on the taxi. So eventually I get a phone number. So that got booked. So she eventually, when I had a phone number, I sent her a message, because to activate this booking, she needed to send a 4-figure activation code through for it to be, implemented this booking. So I had to text her, say, oh, you've got a few seconds to send me back this code, otherwise we can't do this booking. She sent the code back, and then she started asking me questions. And of course I was answering her questions, and I got a message from her agent saying, no, you shouldn't be speaking to her directly, you should be speaking to me. I said, well, she's asking me the questions, So, and I said it's going to be very difficult, doing her at the event if I can't actually speak to her. Oh, you can speak to her, of course, so just leave the logistics to me, said the agent. I said, well, okay, well, she's only asking me a couple of very simple questions. So anyway, wouldn't it be quicker if I just answer her where it's 2 days to go, rather than asking you the questions, it goes to her, then goes this 3-way system, So I was a little bit sort of doubtful whether it would actually happen till I sort of saw her at the station, but that's a little bit later in the story. Gabrielle Glaister, on the other hand, who was quite happy for me to arrange to meet her at Southampton Station, which just happened to be at exactly the same time as Elodie arrived at Southampton Station. Elodie decided to dye her hair dark brown, so I couldn't see her until I sort of looked around for somebody who looked a little bit like her, and it turned out to be her, and she was with her grandmother, and then I thought, hang on a sec, right, see if I can wing this one without upsetting the agent. We all got in the same taxi and got back to the ferry terminal, and got to the Isle of Wight. I did book her a taxi from Cowes to the hotel, and then I drove Gabrielle from Cowes to the hotel, and we all met together in the foyer, which is a bit silly because I could have fitted them all in my car anyway.
That's ridiculous.
But the weirdest thing was that when me and Gabrielle Glaister, if anybody's wondering, is Bob from Blackadder. She got in the car, and I got a phone call from Craig Fairbrass, who was literally shouting and swearing at me like he would have done in one of his films, saying, I told you, so my agent told you it was very, very long, I need a very, very long bed. Well, this was told me 2 years ago when he originally booked, so obviously it slipped through the net somewhere on the line, so he was cursing, and I said, I'll be there in the hotel in 15 minutes. By the time I got to the hotel and dropped off Gabrielle, and there was an issue with the card, which Deb had to go up to the hotel and activate a card, so all the payments for the rooms went through. God, it's bringing it all back to me now. Anyway, so I phoned Craig, said, I'm at the hotel now. I need to calm down a little bit. Oh, yeah, well, it can't be. It's just one of those things, isn't it? Well, it is a bit, but I do feel a little bit responsible for it. Anyway, so that all settled down a little bit, and then I had to go. We started setting up the event at 5:30 that night, and I got a phone call from Mickey Lewis to pick him up. So he was on the ferry, so I went down to Cowes, and I waited, and then got a message off Mickey Lewis saying that they'd got halfway across the Solent, and they'd had to stop because there were 2 yachtsmen in the water struggling. So they had to rescue the ferry had to rescue these yachtsmen and take them back to Southampton, and then put all the passengers on the next ferry. And of course, it did come down and picked up Mickey, who obviously he's in Doctor Who, but he's an actual massive Doctor Who fan. So he was trying to engage to talk about Doctor Who and stuff on the way up there, and dropped him off at the hotel. So that was fine. Got back to the venue where everybody was setting up. Got the daggers from Deb because she thought I was skiving, because I should have come to him back within like 40 minutes of leaving. It was actually an hour and 40 minutes, so that didn't go down too well. And eventually we got the place set up, went home, and all was fairly all right. Then we went in and we had to bring the guests in. I went to the hotel, Mick went to the hotel, we took everybody into apart from the ones who wanted to drive themselves, obviously. Well, Craig just turned up. And then me, Gabrielle, Elodie and her nan were all waiting in the foyer for Chris Rankin to come down. And it's like, I had to use my phone as a card payment machine, I think, and I was waiting on my phone to find out where the hell Chris Rankin was. And then eventually I got a message off him saying he was already at the event. So we drove everybody up there, and I got the car payment machine going, and then I went briefly back into the hall and got sort of growled at by Craig Fairbrass because he expected queues of 1,000 people, and I did explain to him our footfall's 500. You're never going to get a 5,000 queue of 400, and it's not my fault if the agent didn't tell him. In fact, our expected amount was about 250. So anyway, after I was a bit upset by Craig and Julian Seeger being a bit sort of upset by they were a bit quiet at the beginning of the day, we were busy, but they were quiet because everybody was looking out around all the stalls and stuff. So that sort of upset me a little bit. I was sort of set me off in a bad mood for the beginning of the day, even though we were really busy and everybody was really happy. It was running along really nicely. But I charmed Craig as the day went on, and in the end we became firm friends. On the other hand, that Chris Rankin, who, if anybody doesn't know, is Percy Weasley in the Harry Potter films, absolutely wonderful, charming chap. Elodie Grace Hawkin, lovely girl, nothing like her agent, absolutely. She's not that fussed about anything really, just wants to go along and meet people and be friendly and go back home. So yeah, I think a lot of expectations were just generated by her agent. She was a really nice person. They're all really nice to a certain extent, but the morning was really stressful, and because of that I didn't get the recording devices set up correctly to record any interviews on stage. I gave Debbie Melrose a recorder, and so just because Vilile Shabaladi, everybody must know who Vilile is. She was sat on the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast area, and so Debbie and Tom Melrose were sat next to her all day. So I gave her a recorder, but apparently she couldn't get it working to do an interview with Vilile.
Oh, no.
But fortunately, she did interview one of our listeners, Aaron, which you'll get that interview somewhere along the line, probably on the FantasyCon show. But she did manage to interview him, but not Vilile, who she was sat with the whole day. But it doesn't matter, because Paul Wilson, daddy of the show, interviewed everybody on stage. So we have got a Vilile interview, but it's a bit echoey because it's recorded with the camcorder mics, not a live feed into a recorder. So not disastrous. But I have to say, the Melroses were absolutely fab, and I think Vilile just loved everybody. She's just one of these people that loves everybody, and I think I got every time I walked past the Doctor Who zone, that they had beaming smiles on their faces, and I felt as if they were enjoying, one, being together as a family on that area, and two, just being with Vilile all day. Really nice person. But yeah, on the event itself, it beat all expectations. It was the turnout from the public was amazing, and it just went really, really well. It's the only thing that I think we could have done better on was the organisation of the cosplay competition. The stage was a bit tight, and there weren't many seats because I didn't expect many people to be there. But we'll rectify that if we do another one. So I think everybody, we had a small crew. We worked really, really hard, and all I'm getting is positive feedback from it, and that's what we aimed for. I thought of the event in 2018. So that's all I can say. Really, again, I can put an event.
It's great.
It was great. I put an event together to do interviews with the celebs, and don't do any interviews with the celebs myself. It doesn't work sometimes, does it? But there you go. So yes, FantasyCon 3 success. That's all I can say. And I'm thinking the next show will be the one that has all the Q&A interviews that we did. There's not many of them, to be fair, about 5. The other ones I forgot to mention are David Howe and Samantha Howe. David Howe obviously is a Doctor Who expert. He's got lots of books out about Doctor Who and whatnot. Nice chap too. And of course Samantha is an award-winning screenplay person. And she's so lovely. So if you ever get a chance to meet the Howes, and if you've got American convention, get the Howes over. They'll brighten up your event, easily. Do it.
Oh yeah, they're great.
So have you met them, the Howes?
I haven't met them, but I've heard them interviewed many times.
Yeah, well, you'll hear them on our show potentially next week. But if you know anybody who does conventions in America, get the Howes over. They're so worth having over. They really are. So that's FantasyCon. Now we're going to move on to the next section.
Master.
No, because I'm moving on to the news now.
Question.
Go on now.
No.
I have a question. Please tell me the history behind that Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Was that screen used? What?
No, it's not screen used. It's built by a very clever chap called Nick Pointing. Now, do you remember we had 2 TARDISes at FantasyCon 1? There was a bright blue, freshly painted, built one, and we had Roy's screen used one. The screen used one is the one we have at all of our related events. But the bright blue new one is the one that you see Colin Baker and that lot having their picture with, or ironically at that event. Now, Nick built that TARDIS, and he also built the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. He's a very clever chap.
Well,
it's not screen use.
I do have a bone to pick about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Well, because it's got an Isle of Wight plate on it.
Huh?
Because it's got an Isle of Wight plate on it.
Yeah, basically, it should have a plate that says I.
I don't care. It's an Isle of Wight car built by an Isle of Wight clever person.
Being pedantic.
It's just a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. You say that about anybody who's got a Beetle turned into a Herbie, or a DeLorean turned into a time machine. People just sort of modify them. But he built that from scratch.
You know that I would notice something like that.
Yeah, whatever. You have to message him about that. So, but yeah.
No.
So a brilliant event with lots of cosplayers and stuff in that, and you just want to pipe up about the Chitty I can't even say it. I can say Vilile Shabalala, but I can't say Chitty. Doctor Who news. Disney confirms the 25th of November streaming date for Doctor Who, the first of the 3 specials that are coming up very soon. Very soon, in fact. And now we can actually say that. It's nice to be able to say very soon about a new Doctor Who.
It is very soon, isn't it?
And let me jump in here, because the first one that's showing is going to be on the 25th of November, and I will be at Chicago TARDIS at that time.
Well, you'll have to cancel it, Mary.
No.
So if they can do a hookup, which I'm sure they'll figure out.
Sure they will.
It's going to be, to the whole convention. We're going to get to watch it all together.
Yeah, that'll be good. But I will say, Mary, that you're probably going to have to cancel your trip to this Chicago thingy you're going to, I'm afraid. Is that where you're going?
Yeah, well, I live in Chicago now, so it's
you have
just
to
like...
cancel it. Sorry, I said you've got to stop
5
doing.
minutes away now. Where it used to be
You'll have to cancel it, Mary. Sorry. So the first episode is called The Star Beast, which made me think of that episode that we had with the star whale. That was a beast below, so a similar sort of thing. That's on the 25th of November, and then on the 2nd of December, Wild Blue Yonder, and on the 9th of December, The Giggle. All very quite close together, those episodes. Very exciting. Hopefully at the end of the 9th of December episode, The Giggle, we'll actually get a little teaser trailer for the new Shooty Gatwa series. Talking of Shooty Gatwa...
You know when the next one will be.
Do I?
Yeah, they haven't got an actual date, but there's going to be a Christmas special.
What, this year?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yes.
Too. Yeah.
Well, I suppose they would call it a Christmas special if it wasn't going to be this year.
Right.
I thought they were doing a Christmas special for next year.
They're shifting things back to Christmas.
Good. Well, hopefully Shooty will be in that one. Talking of Shooty, I watched a film called Barbie yesterday, and very enjoyable
I'm halfway
movie.
through that.
Very enjoyable, tongue-in-cheek film, and it's got a certain degree of beauty. And I know that not just obviously Margot Robbie, but the actual film itself has got a certain degree of beauty in it. And I think they're going to turn it into a full musical for stage at some point. It's very good.
Did you see Shooty in it?
Yeah, that's why I said, talking of
That's why
Shooty.
he brought it up.
God's sake.
Huh?
That's why I said, talking of Shooty, I watched, for goodness sake, I watched Barbie. It's very good. I would recommend it. It's one of those films you wouldn't expect to like, but you do. It's a very, very good film.
Yes, I agree.
And it's one of those rewatchable ones, a bit like that
can't wait
Mamma
till I can
Mia
finally
film.
see it.
Wouldn't watch Mamma Mia again, but you just like it for certain things of. It's very creative, isn't it? It's just wonderful. I love it. It takes the mickey out of itself. And one of my favourite bits of the film, and it's not a spoiler, it's the bit where Barbie says, oh, I'm not beautiful anymore. And then the narrator, which is Helen Mirren, says, obviously they may have thought of casting somebody other than Margot Robbie to play Barbie in this film for that particular segment. I thought that was brilliant. Go and watch Barbie. I know that should have appeared in the What We Watched This Week section, but because Shooty's in it, I'm afraid it had to be. And there's a couple of other people, well-known faces, British actors that play the sort of the Kens in it as well. One of which is in what's that Marvel thing that was on too long ago with Samuel L. Jackson. He played the baddie in it. This
Secret Invasion.
Is that what it is? And the Nipper, who's one of the Kens in it, he played the baddie in that particular series. He's a Welsh actor. So the official
May I point out a couple of things about the
Barbie,
the Doctor Who that's going to be coming up, or will you let me eventually?
Yes.
Doctor Who that's going to be coming up. What, spoilers?
No, it's observations.
Okay.
One thing that someone pointed out on Facebook, I haven't found the two things put side by side, but I'm holding up in my hand and comparing it against the image on Doctor Who News.
I can't see that though, Kirby.
I know. Is the Star Beast comic book, Fourth Doctor comic book, the cover of the first of those two resembles the whole layout is exactly the same.
It is.
Yeah, it's with the Raw Throat Warriors on either side, the Beep the Meep on particular side, peering out from behind the Doctor, and the two kids have been replaced by Donna and Rose.
Ah, cool.
That's pretty cool. And
it is
also,
cool.
Yes?
I said it is cool, yes. Thank you, Kirby. Yeah.
Speaking of Rose, I don't know why this didn't occur to me until I was watching the trailer again and again and again. By the way, you can see, what's her name?
Rose? Karen Gillan? Catherine
what was the companion? What was the screaming companion of the six?
Bonnie Langford?
Langford, you can see her in the background of one of the scenes.
Okay.
But there's this one scene. There's several scenes where the Toymaker keeps throwing rose petals, and he's in rose petals. I think that is related to whatever he's doing to Rose.
It says Yasmin Finney as Rose Noble. Obviously, she's related to Donna.
Yeah, she's
her.
Donna is married
to her dad.
Married.
No.
What was his name? Is in that last episode where they were given the lottery ticket.
So you're saying that she's her daughter?
Yes.
Okay.
Miriam Margolyes Noble is.
Yeah, Miriam Margolyes is the voice of the
Temple Noble or Rose Noble Temple.
Okay, yes, thank you.
And then by the way,
Miriam Margolyes is the voice of the Meep.
Rose probably named herself
after Rose
instead of being named by Donna because
she's trans.
The character of Rose is trans.
Okay.
And the actress is trans.
Yes, I think we established this probably about 6 months ago, but thanks for updating us with that, Kirby.
But
Miriam Margolyes, for God's sake.
I think the rose petals are
quite possibly so. Miriam Margolyes plays the voice of the Meep. Of course, Miriam Margolyes is well known for farting a lot, so it'd be interesting to see if some of the meeping noises are actually her farting. Yeah, so that's of course, my cuddling friend Gemma Redgrave is also in the stories. New writers announced. I'm not going to read that because that's boring. Talking Doctor Who.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. David Tennant is to host a documentary on BBC 4 to mark the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who in the programme shown next Wednesday.
No.
Isn't it great that we are all excited about new Doctor Who coming out?
Yes.
I love.
Oh, so do I.
It's hit me all of a sudden that I'm kind of getting wound up about Doctor Who again.
Do you know what I love about it, Mary? Is the fact that we've got a new Doctor Who coming up, and then I can ready this particular sound effect for when we talk about it.
I don't anticipate using that.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to be using it for you. It's going to be using it for Mary.
The whole thing is that we've got Doctor Who with the potential of being like it was back in 2005 with RTD.
Some people loving it, some people hating it.
With the same composer and a big budget. I'm just so excited.
Big budgets help, but don't always,
Yeah, I really hope that they're not getting us all worked up and then it's going to be, really stupid, simple stuff.
Yeah.
I'm hoping and anticipating that it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I don't want them to just use money for special effects for the sake of it. They've got to really, put everything into the writing. If they happen to do the thing that springs to mind in regards to that is Night, what was it called again? The one where the
Night of the Doctor?
No, the story where the Doctor was stuck in that sort of cruiser thing.
Yes, I know. It's David Tennant.
David Tennant, yeah. Only the whole thing was done in that one. A sort of ship, just that one. All the actors and that were in that one ship. That's amazing. Writing, and that low budget,
and acting,
that writing and acting, and
42.
And direction.
Was that 42?
No, that was not 42.
It was.
Yeah. Why can't any of us remember the name of that?
Was it Nightmare or something like that? I can't remember. Anyway,
I'll come up with it here in a second.
It was just brilliant. So I know it was an RTD story, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, if
Midnight.
Come on, Kirby.
Midnight. That's it. The other thing you've got to bear into consideration.
Yeah, I like Midnight.
Big budgets should just you look at the Marvel films, and there's not a lot of the Marvel films I don't think are brilliantly written story wise, but they obviously got special effects that enhance that situation. But it's got to be that you've got to have a really get. I mean, that's what they need to do. Get the chap who wrote The Mandalorian. What's his blooming name? He also directed
Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau, yeah. Get him to write some Doctor Who, or just direct it, or just sort of plough the extra money into what he does, which is that would work really well. I think he could do that.
Well, and just look at the story that we just watched and we're talking about. I mean, that was tons of CGI and other special effects, and that didn't help it at all.
No. Exactly. Well, that worked. If you look at the Crib Chibnall stories, and I was talking to Mickey Lewis,
yes.
actually currently still works on Doctor Who, and even he admitted that Chris Chibnall's not a very good writer.
Master.
Yes.
It's so lucky that Doctor Who is working with Disney, because they obviously need to get permission, since Disney owns Marvel, for UNIT, a secret organization called UNIT, to take over Stark Tower.
Oh. Anyway, I was going to say, of course, we know that
based on the
that. Oh yeah, I was going to say something. Yes, that Doctor Who is going to be on iPlayer from classic to new. So all those people have bought their DVDs and downloads. Well,
except
an
unearthly child.
Except an unearthly child.
I don't matter. I've already got an unearthly child.
Well, yeah, so do we all. But that guy is nuts.
Well, why not an earthly child?
Yeah.
Why
I don't know how they let that kind of thing happen.
Well, he did the same thing 10 years ago. The son of the writer of An Unearthly Child is being a pain.
Mm.
And he wants money.
Putting it not mildly.
He wants money. It's a shame the BBC didn't sort of think, okay, well, let's stick to the original copyright laws where the copyright only lasts for 50 years, and they would have been able to do it.
He lost doing the same thing 10 years ago. So he's going to lose this time, but he's just being
a knob.
You're just making stuff, but he obviously doesn't mind.
I think he's mentally unwell.
He obviously doesn't mind by having that reputation. Right then.
He is now threatened to give the copyright of An Unearthly Child to Russia.
Yeah, to Russia.
Dear. Of course, that's the first thing they're going to be thinking. Oh, no, we can do everything with this ropey old Doctor Who story. All right then. Yeah. So now it's what we watched this week. So I have actually managed to get through series 2 of Picard. I'm so relieved I'm finally in series 3. I've watched episode 1 of series 3, so I'm looking forward to the rest of that. Started watching Beckham, but only watched a little bit of it on Netflix. What else have we watched? There's a new series of we talked about Traitors a few weeks ago, Robert. There's a new series of actual traitors. When I say actual traitors, the BBC series that they've been little teasing of that. Big Brother's back on. That's been quite.
When's that starting?
Oh, I haven't said yet, but it's soon. New series with Claudia Winkleman presenting it.
It was towards the end last year, wasn't it?
It may well have been, but they're teasing it now. They're doing the little Traitors logo and shots of traitors. Even on Strictly Come Dancing, Claudia was there doing a bit of saying there was a traitor sort of stood next to her in the robes and everything. So they're doing lots of heavy hints for the return of traitors.
Cool.
What else I've been watching? I've been off work this week, so we've been able to indulge in things like Maths UK and Big Brother and stuff like that.
Why were you off work?
Because I'm on holiday. I had to have a week off to recover from FantasyCon.
That's what I reckon too.
Okay. That's understandable, yeah.
So, I can't remember. I haven't been to the cinema. I watched Barbie, like I said. That was quite enjoyable. I watched Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets last week, and then they put it on ITV today, funny enough. A little bit of the end of the Rugby World Cup. I watched a bit of the World Cup cricket, and England were awful, so I didn't watch any more of it. And, just watching stuff we've recorded off the Skybox, really. Nothing. Apart from, like I say, there's this, watching that, The Burning Girls, because Elodie was in it, off Paramount Plus. But yeah, it's so once I've got through Picard, I'll start picking up Discovery and Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Oh, I nearly forgot, episode 1 of Quantum Leap, because Quantum Leap is now on Paramount Plus in the UK. I don't know if it is anywhere else.
It's good, isn't it?
It is. As I say, I've only seen episode 1, but it does feel like Quantum Leap, but they've done it so well that even though there's the correct amount of detail and the sort of, the other side of it, because when the original Quantum Leap was only what Sam was doing, and they didn't really go back into what was his sidekick that played by
Project Quantum Leap. That's the place.
What was his sidekick called?
Quantum Leap.
No, what was it? Al, wasn't it?
Addison.
Al. No, I'm talking about the old Quantum Leap. So they didn't really, when Al's world, he only just appeared as a hologram. Didn't see much of what was going on in Al's world in the original series of Quantum Leap, but there's a bit more of what's going on in the lab, as you say, as they're trying to sort of retrieve him.
Project Quantum Leap.
Like I say, I did really enjoy the first episode. It was very quantum leapy, and they've done a good job with that. But
Yeah.
the fact they've only got one series on there makes me feel they're unlikely to do another one, sadly, unless anybody knows otherwise. So I'll probably remember other stuff I've watched, because I tend to do that while other people talk about what they've been watching, Robert?
Yeah.
Robert?
Oh yeah, you want me to? I've been watching. I rewatched, I should say, the Final Destination movies.
Oh yes.
And I was thinking, I was watching the is it the fourth one? I think it's the fourth one, or the last. No, the last one, which was a prequel to the first one. No, because it's a prequel to the first movie, so it's. But
I was making a little joke, sir.
It was very little, yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, there's this big disaster which happens on this bridge, and the bridge collapses, and all these people die, and it's just like a premonition of what's going to happen. But as I'm watching, I'm thinking, I recognise that bridge, and it's the bridge when we went up the mountain in Canada. That was the bridge we used. I'm just thinking, I'm glad I didn't remember that happening in the movie when we went across it, because I get scared going over these bridges and things that are up high. So
No.
yeah, so it was enjoyable going through all those again. What else? I've been watching The Traitors Canada.
Oh, didn't know that one.
And enjoying that.
Yes.
Although it ended without.
No spoilers, because we might get it in the UK.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying the episode that I was watching ended, and they didn't complete the episode. It was just really weird, because they usually have their round table at the end.
Yes.
And then somebody either gets banished, and then the traitors plot if they're going to murder somebody or whatever. But that didn't happen. It's just they did it really weirdly. So have to watch.
Oh, so you mean it's in the middle of the series?
It's only episode 4.
Oh yeah, they do that sometimes, don't they? When they've got a big surprise, they need to cram into the next episode.
So I don't know what they're going to do, but I've been enjoying that. Just Survivor and The Amazing Race.
Survivor! Yeah, UK Survivor started. We watched the first episode of that.
Yeah.
Joel Dommett
episode's
presenting
already
it.
out.
Yeah, that's quite good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
What else? Just the usual shows, really.
Yep.
Daily shows like Home and Away or whatever. Rubbish. The news. So that's it, basically.
Yeah. I did talk about having watched the little biopic on Picasso last time, didn't I? That was really good. Okay, right, Kirby. Before I go move to Kirby, I just need to find out how long the episode I've got to publish now. This is live podcasting. 013950. 01. Hang on, what was that again? 013950. 01.
3950.
3950. Right, so now I've got the information I need.
3.14195.
Press the publish now button, and out goes, as I speak now, episode 571.
So I can update the
Kirby, you may
spreadsheet.
I will update the spreadsheet after I've spoken about what I've watched. Loki, caught up with Loki.
Oh yes,
wow.
Loki. We watched that for
yeah,
dinner.
yeah.
We watched that at dinner time. Thank you for reminding me of that. Episode 3 I've watched. So be quiet about episode 4. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to get out of this.
I said be quiet about episode 4. I haven't watched it.
That was the main thing. Just yesterday, I watched on Max, what used to be HBO Max, whatever it's called now. They just put out another short film of Peter and the Wolf. This was very interesting. It's a 2D animation on a 3D model background based on Bono's drawings. That is Bono of U2.
Oh, I thought it was called Bono.
Paul
Has he
Hewson.
got a brother called Bono then?
Paul Hewson.
Paul Hewson? Oh, that's what Bono's name is it? Just been a bit of a smarty pants, aren't you, Robert?
It's very well done. And if you like Peter and the Wolf, like the music, go out and watch it. It was really good. Okay, Bono, whatever.
Whatever. Well, Americans can't say that syllable, can they? Like,
No, we can't say things.
Yeah, like
of course.
Davros is Davros, so Bono makes sense. And those.
I know how to say Davros.
No, most Americans call it Davros or like
Dave Ross.
anything that ends in OS. It's
Dar-
os,
Dave
isn't
Ross.
it? Everything
Dar-
that, yeah, but anything that ends in OS is os, isn't it? It's not os. I can't think of anything specifically now, but yeah, it doesn't matter, does it? Oh, God,
I'm trying to think what else I've been watching.
Tomato.
Went out and watched some Avengers, the original version. Continued watching a couple of those.
What's the original version? Are we talking like 1960s?
Yes, we're talking 1960s. We're not talking superheroes. We're talking.
Yeah, Miss Peel is needed.
Yes, exactly. That's right. This past Tuesday, this past Monday, and actually Sunday and Monday, I ended up sitting through Dimensions in Time again because I was on Earth Station Who, where we were discussing Dimensions in Time.
You can get ointment for that, by the
Moonlighting
way.
again.
What?
You can get ointment for that
Moonlighting.
appearing on Earth Station.
Yes. Hey, well, I always mention us when I'm on with them.
Yeah, always mention us, and no bugger takes any notice whatsoever, as usual. Carry on.
So we thoroughly dissected and threw it down the toilet. and of course, I did happen to say that it was better than Orphan 55.
Oh, there's somebody at the door. Hang on.
Ooh. Ooh.
Why's the door not opening? Oh, hello. Oh, you can't have him, sorry. Oh, I'm going to be quick. Oh, that's his coat for him. Bear with.
Makes for good podcasting.
You're
doesn't it?
right.
Yes,
Frog left.
Just carry on talking for a bit. Owen.
So go on, Kirby. What else?
That's pretty much it.
A mother that's...
Oh, what about you, Mary?
No, you can't start until...
I can talk.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Talk, fill in the time.
Well, what am I
Don't
waiting
somebody's-
for?
No, nothing. Never. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, now that basketball is drawing to a close, I mean, baseball, because we're at the World Series point and there's no team that I'm interested in.
Oh.
Yeah, well, breaks anyway, but now I've moved on to basketball. So most of my
always something.
TV viewing time is taken up with basketball. But I did watch a series that is very interesting that I think any one of you would really enjoy. It's on Netflix and it's called Bodies. You have
I've been wondering what that was.
Oh, it's very weird, and
What is it?
it's what?
What is it?
Well, it's it takes place over 4 different time streams where the body of a man who's been shot through the eye shows up naked in every one of these time streams. It's the same guy in every one. And then the detectives that are investigating, so we're going from like 1870s up to 2050. Every detective is investigating this, and one of them starts to get the idea that there's more going on here than what meets the eye. And so they start investigating they're seeing that, this happened before.
I like your pun there, Mary.
You like my what?
You said more meets the eye as you get shot in the eye.
So in truth, it's a time traveling story. But how they tie it together and how they manage to manipulate events, it's very interesting. So yeah, I would recommend you get into it. It's very well done.
Check it out.
Yeah.
When I heard Bodies, I was thinking about that museum exhibition from like 15 years ago of all the bodies.
Have the bodies all dissected, and then you can see all the veins, and you can. I would have loved to have seen that exhibit.
Is that when they plasticize everything?
Yeah, I saw it, and it was fascinating.
Yeah, every aspect of the body, what was redone in like a poly something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so when you said bodies, that's
Yeah, that's what you thought. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's a documentary on how they did it.
No. This is a
Not quite.
a time traveling mystery. So it's great.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
Of course, also on Netflix, I've been following the British Bake Off, which
Oh,
I always
yeah,
enjoy.
we watched that.
Here.
Yeah, we
And
watched
I
that.
was hoping Deb would be on so we could chatter about that, but she's not here. In my Big Finish listening, I'm in the middle of a series called Once and Future, which is their 60th anniversary output. And it basically is the doctor, and like all the doctors are in just about every episode, but each one focuses on one of the past doctors up to, the present.
What volume are you up to now?
I've
Just released, wasn't it?
I've done 3 of them so far. The first one's called Past Lives. And the second one is called Artist at the End of Time. That's a really good one. And then next one I just finished listening is Genius for War. And there's 7 or 8 of them. So I'll be, through all of them.
I think only 7 have just been released. I think 7 just got released.
Yeah, and they're holding off the last one until the actual 60th.
Yeah.
So that should be good. It should tie up, because each one of the doctors is dealing, with an issue that I think is probably going to be all tied up in the last one. So it's a nice series from finish. And I'm reading Dominators. And let me tell you, it's a much better read than it is a TV show. The second Doctor, The Dominators.
Yes, I remember. Yes, we did it once upon a time, didn't
definitely.
we?
Okay.
I got that book. I read that ages ago.
Yeah, ages ago. So I like reading the Target novels.
That was Ian Martin, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was it Ian Martin?
The novel, yeah.
Okay.
He wrote the novelization of it,
Yeah.
I don't think that's one
he does a good job. Because he puts so much more background in the stories. And, where they have those silly little robots in the second.
Yeah.
What, the Quarks?
The Quarks, yeah. I'm picturing them entirely differently based on the description that that the writer gives. So, yeah, it's much more enjoyable to read
much better in your mind.
And something that I've just recently discovered, and maybe you guys are already aware of this, the Sky Arts series. The one that I've discovered and started watching is called the Sky Arts Portraiture of the Year Awards.
Oh, now I was hoping you were going to say that because it's one of my favourite shows, and I've just watched the one they call Sky. Yeah, I know. We watch a lot of stuff this week, haven't we? But this one we always watch Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year and Sky Arts Landscape Artist of the Year.
Yeah, there's also the Landscape Artist, but I'm less interested in that. But I do love watching the Portraiture of the Year competition. Now that's on Max here.
Yeah.
Interested?
So is that the one that Joan Bakewell presents with?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, did you have the one that was a Portrait Artist of the Decade, where they had Dame Judi Dench as the subject?
I'm only on the second season of it.
Oh, really? That was 8 years ago.
Well, I know, but it just now showed up on American, streaming TV.
Yeah.
So
it is so good. That's
it is so good. I just love watching those portraits come to life.
Yeah.
And the people that they choose to be the sitters are, so that Kirby knows. They're people who are well known in England, of course, and Wales and Ireland. They're broadcasters and actors and stuff. So some of them I've never heard of, but some of them, like was it Maisie from Game of Thrones?
Yeah, and Doctor Who.
And Doctor Who.
And Doctor Who.
Williams.
Yeah.
Was
she's one of the sitters.
When you watch the earlier ones, Mary, there's obviously people that are well known in Britain on it who then become well known all around the world because they become more successful.
Yeah.
I know, and that sometimes I have real superstars on. I had Ian McKellen on a couple of years ago. So, it is surprising sometimes they get some really sort of, and a good sort of diverse sort of from people, different societies and different, they have lawyers on it, some famous lawyers, politicians,
Right.
all sorts of people that are from different walks of life that are really just famous or successful,
Well, with the landscapers, do they do anything especially special?
The landscape
Like,
artist of the year
in the sites.
Yeah, the landscape artist of the year is done it's the same judges and presenters, apart from when in the early days it was Frank Skinner was the support presenter to Joan Bakewell, and they changed it halfway through. But yeah, they go to various locations around Britain, and the different thing with they have their set professional and what they call it, amateur painters in the competition. Then they have this thing called the wild cards. So they have about 50 people that just rock up on the day and they do the painting, and they'll pick a winner from the wild cards on each episode, and then they'll pick an ultimate winner from all of them to go into the final with the other contestants.
So this is in the landscape right?
One, yeah. But yeah, they go around the country, and then they'll even have somebody talk about the location that they're painting, and they have so many different types of artists that paint. Some people they do mosaics, fabric, or just
I did. I watched one fabric artist do a portrait, and I'm so sad that they didn't pick hers, because hers was so interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the same format. It's got very much the same feel about it. And it's the same sort of prize. So at the end of it, they get the winner of the whole competition gets to paint, they commission to paint somebody or something, for a gallery in the UK. And yeah, it's a magical program, because everything.
It is.
They've got 4 hours, or as Joan Bakewell says,
I'm really into it.
4 hours, 4 hours to paint whatever it is. But at the end of it, they
no
get
time at all.
Whoever wins it gets an unlimited amount of time to paint. I love the fact also in the portrait artist of the year they got to submit a self-portrait. Which
I
is
love those
often
self-portraits.
amazing. Yeah. But yeah, it's a really good series. You'll love that. There's lots and lots of those. If you're only in series 2, there's lots and lots of those because they just started series 10.
There's a lot more.
Yeah, they've just started series 10.
It's just amazing to me that there are that many artists that can do that wonderful of a job.
Yeah, I'm surprised America hasn't picked that up, because I'm sure there's lots of
I'm
amazing
surprised.
artists in the US.
It's just too slow moving. Maybe they don't think American viewers, would like to watch, because it is a pretty slow moving program.
Yeah, maybe they just need their own version of Sky Arts. So they don't. Sky Arts covers all sorts of art-based things, all types of art. It's a fabulous channel, really is.
Okay, so that's what I've been watching.
Splendid. I just want to show the viewer, Lynn and Robin, who says, "Don't you dare stop the live stream." And also said the doctor saying Clara had a tight skirt was not very doctory. Well, he wasn't actually the doctor when he said that, was he? This is a signed picture.
No, it was the doctor.
Oh, right.
It was the doctor.
This is a signed picture of Gabrielle Glaister playing Bob in Blackadder, signed to Debbie. You see it? To Debbie. Love from Gabrielle Glaister. Now, because Debbie didn't get a chance to meet Gabrielle, so I got
Debbie
her
not
to sign
there?
that. And this is the other picture that she wanted a while back. It's the Michael Jaston picture, which I've put in a flippy thing for Debbie to have, but she hasn't collected it yet. So that may stay here for quite a while.
How come Debbie didn't meet Bob?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe next time she's on the show you can ask her. She could have done. I don't know. It's just, I think she got up to meet her, and then we'd already taken her back to a hotel at the end of the event. But I don't know. She's very approachable, so she could have done. That for this week is about it.
No,
it's not.
I did want to point. I got a notification from Amazon that I pre-ordered the Underwater Menace animated version, and now I have a date for getting it.
Oh, cool.
January the 9th.
Thank you for that. I'll put that in the diary. What's the next story? Something of the Doctor, isn't it? Because these are the Doctor stories.
The name of the Doctor.
Name of the Doctor. That's it. That's the next one.
This has been teased all season, hasn't it?
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention is that certain members of the family have become a bit sort of not so much obsessed with Lego. Now, my son-in-law, Kyle.
Is it your missus?
What? What did you say? Anyway.
Is it your missus?
No. Yeah, so my son-in-law just builds these humongous... What?
That was a joke.
Well, not a very good one. Anyway, my son-in-law has just buys massive Lego models and builds them, and he's got a room full of them now. All quite expensive, to be fair, but I suppose I'd rather he spends his money on something creative than other things that people could spend their money on. And he's also got Alicia into doing it, and now Alicia's building these Lego builds and saying, "Oh, these are really good. They're so therapeutic. You should do it, Dad," which has then inspired Deb to get me so finally, and behind me I've got the Doctor Who Lego, which I acquired a while back. It's actually been completed over there, and in the other room, currently in the process.
Just have a baby.
What? You reckon a baby could build a DeLorean? Oh no, sorry. I thought. Yeah, she's had a baby, but she still has. God knows, she's got a baby attached to one breast, and she can do the Lego with the other hand. Anyway, she's building stuff. But no, I've got a DeLorean in the other room, which I'm currently. And the good thing about it, you get this. It's expensive. I think Deb allowed me to buy this because I paid for Elodie's thing out of my own money, and I've been paid it back, so I've got money to. She said, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll go to Samson. You've got £200. First time that's ever happened to spend on yourself." And I'm quite happy with what I've got. But so we went into the Lego shop, and it's a beautiful place, the Lego shop. And I thought, there's nothing there already that's within a reasonable price band I would like. And then I spotted this DeLorean. Oh my God, it's a DeLorean! So I just picked it up, put it in my arm, and walked out with a big smile on my face. I think I'll have this. Yeah. So I've been in the process of building the DeLorean. And the good thing about the Lego sets is you get it's about 9,000 pieces or something like that. But each segment of the instruction book, you have a bag of bits, and you empty those bits out into a tray, and then you just. Looking at the diagram, you assemble them as you go, and you do it bit by bit. It takes a while, but it is therapeutic, and you can watch TV programs while doing it, and it suits me down to the ground. So it keeps me awake for things I normally fall asleep for. It's great. So yeah, I would agree with it's expensive, but it is therapeutic because it's like doing a jigsaw puzzle.
I got some Indiana Jones Lego years back.
Did you assemble?
Yeah, I like doing jigsaw puzzles.
Did you assemble the?
What you
Indiana
need to do,
Jones?
Master?
Oh God, yes.
What you need to do is take that DeLorean and have it run into the TARDIS. And
unfortunately, the DeLorean is a lot bigger than the TARDIS. My model of the TARDIS, which is behind me, it wouldn't quite work. The other one, I think Deb's bought me a smaller version of Hogwarts Castle, which is quite charming as well. So that's something I will be able to assemble maybe nearer the Christmas time. And I was looking at this wonderful Pac-Man machine which Lego have done. It's basically, and it's got working parts in it, so you wind this hand.
An arcade machine.
And all the Pac-Man move around the screen. So this is when it finished. Obviously, you have to build it and finish it, but it's so cool. Yes, of course, my son-in-law spent £500 on this massive Star Wars thing. It's a pointy thing, something cruiser or something. It's huge. It's about the size. When he bought the box out of the shop, it only just fitted into his car. It's something cruiser.
Is it the Millennium Falcon or the?
No, he's already got a Millennium Falcon. That's not as
Star
that's not
Cruiser.
Big. Is it the Star Cruiser?
The Star Cruiser, Star Destroyer. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't know anything about. Isn't Harrison Ford in one of them? Star Wars. I don't know anything about Star Wars.
Harrison Ford's in Star Wars.
Darth Vader, is he in it? Something like that.
Never heard of him.
What did you say? I've got to Google it now. Something cruiser.
Yeah, Star Wars is Darth Vader, and
Star
it is
Destroyer.
Star Destroyer.
Star Destroyer is a big triangular
Star
shape.
Destroyer Lego. Here we go. Star Destroyer Lego. Oh, there's.
Because I know that's a big set.
It's the Imperial Star Destroyer. That says retired though. There's a new version of it. Yeah, the one he's got is a new version.
I was right.
Yes, you're right, yes. There's a new version of it, but it's still humongous. He's already got quite a lot of way through it. I wanted to get the Titanic, but it's like £600. So I decided not to
Yeah,
get
I've
it.
seen that one. Yeah.
Out loans soon to.
The good
buy
thing
it.
about,
better
I will
things,
say
yeah.
though, the good thing about Lego is it doesn't decrease in value. It retains it. The Lego bits models retain their value after they're built because Lego.
I thought toys were better if you don't ever take them out of the package.
No, because it's still a collectible item because Lego don't keep their products out for very long. There's one set I'd like to have that's
Probably
not.
would be worth more bucks, but yeah.
Well, no, it's not. They're just the same. They don't decrease. As long as you've got all the parts within that model that you've built, as long as you have all the parts, then it still retains its value because of the collectability of it. Yeah,
that value is only good if you're going to sell it or trade it someday.
Yeah, well, that does work because I'd like to have the Stranger Things Upside Down set, which is not available anymore. But you can buy it second hand for about £200. And I think it's sold at 179, so it does retain its value. Right, the item that Kyle got is 75,252 bits. Oh no, that's the item number. Big bang. 4,784 parts. To this particular Imperial Star Destroyer.
Yeah, there's also the Colosseum in Rome. Apparently, that's a big.
Yeah,
Lego
I've seen that
set
one.
too.
Yeah, the other one I quite like the look of was the Gringotts Bank set, which that was about £400 though. It was a beautiful set though. The detail on it's incredible, and it also has brings a certain amount of personality to the set. So whoever designs these obviously has a certain love for the things they're putting together. And yeah, it's I'm building this, like I say, the DeLorean. I've got to bag 3, and I've just got this little square thing with lots of bits added, so it doesn't look anything like a DeLorean.
You should take photos of your progress
I
as
have.
you're going.
I have done that, thank you, Robert.
Oh,
I'm not publishing them
good.
yet until I've done. I'll do a TikTok once I've finished it. So, but yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, next week it's something of the Doctor. Name of the Doctor.
Name of the Doctor.
Name of the Doctor.
Yeah. And according to my diary, I should be okay because it's Guy Fawkes night. That'll be exactly a year since the previous FantasyCon. And I've got a Sarah Millican show the day before. So unless Deb says otherwise, I should be all right for the 5th of November.
Okay, so I will plan on asking for feedback.
Remember the 5th of November.
I won't be able to do the 12th of November, though. There you go, I'm just saying. So, well, that's been...
Let me take a look at a calendar.
We have rather rambled on this evening, and still...
Yes, we
we've
have.
got 3 viewers now, God's sake. And it was only supposed to be a little bit shorter than this, but I think we've managed to engage in decent quality conversation in this particular instance.
Okay, so I should remove the 12th from my calendar. Gotcha.
Remove it from the calendar. It will still happen again, whether it's there or not.
I'm not sure how. Yeah, fine. Oh, the 12th of November is the anniversary of the Hill Valley lightning strike. So you should have your DeLorean finished by then.
That would be useful. But the good thing about the DeLorean again, you can have it in. You've got 3 choices of how you want to finish it.
88.
Can I speak? The DeLorean, you've got 3 choices of how you want it to finish at the end. Whether it's got the lightning rod coming out the back of it, whether it's got the fusion thing at the back for the chucking the rubbish in, or whether it's just the pre. Its first trip in the car park. So there's 3 different versions. I think I'd probably go for the future one with the fusion thing in the back of it rather than the rod sticking out. We'll see what happens at the end of it. Right, so, like I say, I was going to say something, I've forgotten what it was now.
Well, you can always vary it one week and one the other,
I've remembered what I was going to say now. So, the next time we're recording next Sunday, but I should be putting out the FantasyCon interviews episode between now and then, so that will make that episode 574.
Cool.
Because this is 572.
Okay.
And of course, our last ever episode of the 20 Megabyte Dog Food podcast is 600, isn't it, Kirby? He's gone very quiet.
I think you threw him there.
I know I calculated it once, but right at the moment, no, I don't know.
Well, it's not possible, is it? So we can get through that many episodes in 26 episodes of this show to get to the end of the journey.
How many
Really
episodes are left? I've got no idea.
Quite a lot. So we've got the whole of the Capaldi
Quite a lot.
era, the whole of the Capaldi era, the whole of the the Whittaker era, and some of the second Tennant era would have done by then, and then we'll have probably what's been going on with the Gatwa era. So at some point we will reach the point in which we come to the end of the journey, but the journey will continue in a different fashion. So I would probably think we'll probably just do episodes when episodes come out, like like what's that other podcast that I used to quite like? The two guys, one knew about Doctor Who and one didn't. What was that one called? Bigger on the Inside. That was a good podcast.
Kirby?
Bigger on the Inside podcast. That was a great show.
Bigger on the Inside.
My favourite podcast.
Oh, we've been doing neck to neck with Tim Drury. He just did what we spoke about tonight. Just last week.
What did you say?
So we're now absolutely both. He's doing the same thing. He's going through the journey.
Sorry, who's doing it?
Tim Drury. And he usually listens. I wonder why he didn't.
He's probably recording. He's probably doing the name of the Doctor just to overtake us.
Yeah. So he'll. Yeah.
He's got too much time in his hands, doesn't he?
He falls behind at times. We were way ahead, and then he was ahead, but he falls behind because he then records entire episodes of interviews.
Sorry, who falls behind?
Vengeance. Huh?
Who falls behind?
Tim Drury.
Anyway, so next time is probably the FantasyCon episode. The one after that, which we record next week, will be the name of the Doctor. So until then, thank you for listening, watching, taking part of the show, and bye.
Goodbye, Fancy Pants.
Bye. Scarecrow.
The 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast is an APV Services production, sponsored by whowon.co.uk and lavazi.co.uk. We are proud members of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. Doctor Who is a trademark of the BBC. No copyright infringement intended. The music on this podcast is covered by limited online music license from PRS for Music. License reference LE0030512.